So I think the idea for the Temptation video started when we were talking to Jacob, our designer, and he had put together this whole vision board. When we saw that, we really felt like he hit the spot on what we wanted to say. So we drew the ideas from his concept and worked on it together with Pavel.
I think Imminence is one of my favorite artists to work with, just because of the fact that they're so involved in the video making process and they care so much about the visuals. And then together we came up with the story about the guy getting saved from the prison and being offered a spot in the higher society. But to get it, he needs to go through some trials. And then we started to think, how should we make this video look the biggest and the best video we've ever done together? And we just decided to go for the most visually stunning set of images that we could actually afford. And that's how we came up with this idea of 3 trials: the fire trial, the hot stamp trial, and then the blood rain trial.
The fire trial started off as an idea that we wanted to do for quite some time. It was like a scene that we had in our minds that we really wanted to do for the video. And it was quite a huge challenge. You know, we had so many discussions with Pavel, like how can we actually get that into reality, because like should we do it with VFX, or how in the world are we gonna like safely perform in a burning room? But we actually did it, and the room was really on fire.
So the guys that were in control of fire, the special effect crew, they said that they can control it for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then if it burns, it burns. So that's why we did all the necessary shots first, and then we focused on performance, and we managed to only do Eddie and Harold.
And action!
In the first few takes, everything went fine. I think it was the 3rd take we did where I actually started to burn myself. Like I could feel it on my back. I tried to like stay into the setting. I remember I took out my hand at one point because it started hurting so much. And then I hear Pavel, the director, yelling out because he thinks I'm acting. So he's like, yes, more emotion.
Pavel was supposed to give us a notice of like 2 minutes before we get ready for the shot. And I remember him just screaming, Christian, get ready. When I came out of our backstage room, I saw this like ball of fire just up in the air. And he's screaming to me to go in front of the camera while the rest of the crew was just moving everything to the side to try to say whatever that could be saved.
Well, that escalated quickly.
The cool thing about the second trial is the hot stamp that we put on Eddie's back, and we did it for real. We bought some animal skin from the market, we put it on some wooden tripods, and then we actually heated up this custom-made object from metal, and we pressed it onto the skin, so what you see in the video is an actual burn mark.
So yeah, I remember doing the second trial and the scene when they're about to put it in my back. I was kind of scared that one of the guys would slip or make a mistake, because you could really feel the heat just generating from the iron. It was so close.
I need to take control. Listen to your idea.
When we walked into the rain room setting, it was probably the most impressive experience of the Temptation shooting for me, because you walk into the room and everything is just set up and it looks so massive. And when they started and when they turned the water on, it looked so much better than I could have envisioned it, like in my head.
Once we started shooting, I quickly realized that we were gonna be there for a long time. I don't know exactly when we finished, but all I remember is that it was really, really cold, and I can't imagine how Eddie was feeling during that time, because he was in that room for way too long.
So when we shot the third trial was directly after we shot the fire scene. We came to this warehouse, and outside I think it was around 2 degrees Celsius. It was really cold, almost freezing, snow everywhere. And inside the warehouse was probably even colder than that. And in between the takes they had this massive industrial heater that I was sitting completely wet, trying to dry myself as much as possible and heat up a little bit, and then we would go in and do the next take. And I honestly think it was a miracle that I didn't get sick during this recording or during this day.
The biggest challenge about the third trial, the blood rain, is that we had only one set of Eddie's outfit, so we basically just had one take of putting blood on him. And that's why we did like 20 takes before putting blood on him, just to be extra safe in case the blood doesn't work or something, and just play it out with the red light. But in the end the blood worked fine and we got the shot that we needed.
One thing I thought that was so impressive was we had a makeup artist who is actually working as a professional tattoo artist, and that ending scene, with the glowing stone when it gets pushed into his chest, is actually a real tattoo made on some fake skin. So this actually handmade by the makeup artist. She's super talented.
I think one of the biggest challenges about the shooting was the time, because we only had 2 shooting days and 1 preparation day, and we used the preparation day to pre-light all the locations, all the settings that we needed, so we then can quickly go from one setting to another, because we had so many changes in Eddie's outfit and hair throughout the video. And I really appreciate all the efforts of production team that actually made it possible. Denis, the producer, Victoria, my assistant director, and Michael, who was the line producer. They were the guys who actually took control of time and made sure that I have everything I need to do the certain shot in the time given.
One of the most comic things that happened on the set was probably when Eddie was getting his hair cut, because we did that in between the takes. So it was probably 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 in the morning, and Eddie is soaked in blood. His hair is like hanging down, his beard is dripping. He's sitting in like a hairdresser's chair, like an old like narcos drug lord, getting his hair cut by this Latvian woman who doesn't even speak English and wonders what's going on. She has like fake blood all over her hands and like trying to keep her face while she's just cutting his hair. And it was just such a weird thing. We're so tired, all of us, but it was really like something that you would never have predicted or expect to happen on a video shoot.
So we've been working with Pavel for 3 of our videos before. I remember that I wanted to start working with him. I had seen his videos he made for other bands and was really impressed by his work. And back then I used to do all the video productions myself, but I really felt like it was a time to bring someone else in and let me focus a bit more on singing and playing the violin, and be in front of the camera instead of behind the camera. When we wanted to think about the new concept, it was like no doubt that we wanted to work with Pavel again. But this time we felt like we need to do something else. We need to step up and make something bigger and better than we've ever done before. So I think we really put him to the challenge as well. And I think they did such a beautiful job, everyone involved, and him especially, of pulling everything together, especially during these times. And I'm so happy with the outcome. Everything from the imaging to like the story reflecting the meaning of the song is just coming together in a better way than I ever hoped for.
I think we were really lucky to find the locations that we found, because, for example, the prison scene, the band performance, the washing scene, the mirror trial, and then the corridor scene, which didn't even make it to the cut, they were all shot in one location, which is the Spilve airport, which is like the Soviet times airport, which is now used only for small planes. And the fun fact is that you can see this airport from the outside in paralyzed video of Imminence.
One problem that we had with this video that we knew we were going to have from the beginning, like this was shot in the midst of Corona, and we did not know if we were going to be able to travel, if we were allowed, or if everybody was healthy. So we had to do 2 tests before going to Latvia. And we received the last documents from Pavel that we were allowed into the country while waiting for the ferry. As much as I love the acoustic stuff that we're doing, which I really do, but in the end of the day, I think I'm still that little kid in my heart that just loves metal. And it feels so good to be back playing Distortion and releasing this really heavy track that it is, and to see people actually enjoying it, it's really nice, and I can't wait to get back on stage just to play some heavy songs again.
It was pretty exciting before the release of Temptation because it is the first heavy track that we're releasing in about 2 years. And we felt like we wanted to do a real comeback. Temptation is probably the hardest song that we ever put out. And we worked with Henrik Udd, who did a fantastic job recording and mixing and mastering the song. And you know, with the video, it just felt like everything was coming together the way we had hoped for, you know, to really get us that, okay, we're back, you know, we're really back, and we mean some serious business with this.